Hello and welcome to this special show, Regulating Realty. I'm Nayantara. This is a show that's dedicated to you, our viewers. It's 2nd of May, and that means India's supposed to have a real estate regulator by now. In fact, they were all supposed to be notified yesterday. Till last count, only 7 states and all the union territories have notified the regulator. RERA has been credited for bringing in the much-needed transparency in the very opaque property market. Buyers, through this act, are supposed to be protected from delayed possession, builders changing building plans midway through construction, not delivering what they promised, buyers getting what they pay for, as builders will only be allowed to quote a price on the carpet area and refrain from the usual practice of quoting prices on super area that includes balconies, common spaces, parking lots, etc. There's also a penalty interest of 10% that should have kicked in from 1st of May against late deliveries by builders, imprisonment of errant builders, and a 70% of the buyer's advance that has to be kept in a separate bank account so that builders do not divert funds to other projects. Call us on ET now, send us your queries, and we promise to get them answered with our power-packed panel. Our phone lines are open. You can also tweet us on our Twitter handle, ET Now Live. So here's our panel for today. Anuj Puri, the chairman of JLL Residential. And we've also joined by 2 lawyers, Niraj Kumar, a partner at DSK Legal, as far as Vaibhav Gaggar, the partner at Gaggar and Partners. So we're getting you free legal advice as well. These are 2 lawyers very well versed with real estate. Vaibhav Gaggar, for example, was part of the team that had defeated DLF at the CCI. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us here on ET Now. Let's get straight down to it. I'm going to ask all my viewers to keep their queries short and concise so we can get more viewer queries on, and I'm going to ask my experts on the panel to also give us crisp answers and to the point ones. First query, what's your query? I believe we're joined by our first viewer.
Hello.
Hi, I believe the first viewer query is from Mukesh. Hi Mukesh, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, my query is, see, we have booked a flat at Life Republic project of Kolte Patil at Injewadi, Pune. And the flat was booked in the year 2011-12. And they had promised possession as per the agreement in December 2015, 2015. And so far they have not been able to give possession. So we are asking for the compensation. Nobody is responding. The director, the senior people, they are never available on phone or in person. The things are left with some junior people and they talk all rubbish. And they keep on giving promises and the flats are not yet ready. So in the view of this RERA or even without RERA, can the investors like me demand for the compensation directly with the developer, or will have to take the route of legal filing a suit?
Right. Okay. So this is just one instance of a delayed project. Let's get down to our experts. Anuj, I'll come to you first. I don't expect you to, give specific commentary on builders. I know better than that you're not going to do it. However, there is a trust deficit that has been created. There is this overarching problem of builders not being transparent with their buyers about when the deliveries are indeed going to take place. What, according to you, are the safeguards that are there under RERA which should make life easier for consumers like Mukesh?
So first of all, Nayantara, very delighted that you're having this debate, and happy RERA Day to you and all the viewers on this channel. I am absolutely delighted that RERA has come in being. I've been in this industry for 20 years. I can tell you this is the biggest day that I have seen, because I do know that on the other side of this dark tunnel, once we go through the transition, you're going to see a very mature, transparent, a market which has got a huge amount of governance, where you're going to see a lot more private equity wanting to play as equity, not as debt. You're going to find buyers wanting to buy when the launches are happening, and semblance of the market where fly-by-night developers are going to go away from this business, and there's going to be a large-scale consolidation that is going to take place. The question that you've asked is, how do the buyers get protected for late delivery? There are several provisions that have been provided in RERA, and clearly one of them is that if the regulator believes that there is a late delivery, the regulator has an ability to be able to take the project and give it to the society of members who have bought that property. 70% of the money has to be kept into escrow, so there's going to be sufficient money to be able to complete the balance of the project, and or the society can bring in another developer to be able to complete. They could have done it even today, Nayantara, that. But the trouble is that the 70% escrow provision wasn't there today, and in many cases the developer has taken more money from the buyers, and the balance installment that is left to complete the project is insufficient to complete the project. Under RERA, this is not going to happen, and hence there is a huge protection for the buyers.
Okay, and now let's throw the floor open to the two lawyers. Niraj, I'm going to come to you first. What could be the legal options now in a case where a project is under RERA and the builders are not being transparent on the new delivery timelines?
Yeah, so coming to this particular case that Mukesh has actually put to us, the provisions of RERA makes it mandatory for all uncompleted project or the ongoing projects to be coming within the purview of RERA. So between the two options that is available to Mukesh, one is basically the option available to file a legal suit, I mean civil suit for a recovery of damages, and the alternative is to go to the authority to agitate his issues before that, before the authority. I think because of the robust dispute resolution mechanism provided in RERA, it's much more advisable that Mukesh goes to and lodges his complaint with RERA once this project is listed out or is lodged with the authority. As far as ongoing projects are concerned, as per RERA, within 90 days of 1st of May, the ongoing project has to get listed with the authority. So I'm assuming that within 90 days the developer will be listing this as this project as well with the authority. In that once that is listed, then the Mukesh can actually go and lodge his complaint with the authority with all the grievances, including the delay in possession and the damages that he is liable to get from them.
Before I go to the next question, I'm suspecting most of our viewers' main problem is going to be that if they've not got their project on time, what are the recourses that are available? So for this particular question in particular, Mukesh, I'm going to go to all of the guests. I will not be doing that with every viewer query. Vaibhav, very shortly, very crisply, what do you think are the options for Mukesh as far as late delivery goes?
So it's got to be a simultaneous action. Until the RERA would have kicked in, obviously it would have been the consumer forum, depending upon the pecuniary jurisdiction, whether the state or the national. Simultaneously, as you would have seen recently, the courts and the police are taking cognizance of this being really a case of cheating as well. So that option is also very much available to file a case for fraud. Once RERA kicks in, as Niraj pointed out, and if the project does get listed, then proceedings could be commenced in RERA before the authority, or it could still be before the NCDRC. And over there, you could look at penalties up to 10% of the project value, them getting blacklisted, the entire project being taken over. But as pointed out by Mr. Puri, that there may not be sufficient funds to actually complete the project, but that's something that had to be done. The time already there has been a delay of 2 years, and I would suggest that Mukesh really needs to seriously get into court immediately and look at all these simultaneous actions.
Okay, I hope that will satisfy you, Mukesh. We've got three experts to answer your queries. I'm going to move on to the next viewer query. I believe Atul from Noida is calling us. Atul, what's your query?
Hi, my query is I have booked my flat in Supertech EcoBlaze 2 in 2013, and the builder promised me to give possession on March 2015. Then suddenly he changed delivery date. He comes and promised me for 16, then 17. Now he's saying he'll give me possession on December 17, 2017. In between, he asked me huge illegal demands, which I have already paid because of the pressure. So what should I do? I'm in a dilemma. What should I do now? I'm paying EMI, I'm paying rent, and the headache, mental pressure.
This seems to be the double whammy that a lot of the buyers face. They have to pay EMI for the home loan they've already taken. Many of them have to pay rent because they're staying in a rented accommodation and the projects are delayed. Niraj, what's the legal option available?
There are many legal options available, Nayantara. The question is, what is the most robust mechanism available to the buyer? So even for this particular project, I believe once this gets listed in RERA, because the RERA provides that any dispute raised before it has to be disposed of within a defined time frame, that is 60 days. So I think that is such a realistic thing available to a consumer, and in such a short span, I think this is the most preferred option for resolution of any dispute. Even in this case, because Eco Village is one of the projects which is not yet completed, and ideally it should get listed with RERA. So I mean, as a consumer, he can always go there. Alternatively, all the illegal demands, etc., that has been paid by him in the past, that can be agitated before the consumer forum, depending upon what the jurisdictional value is. He can go to the state or the National Consumer Forum, and he can agitate all these issues. But in my view, one should give a chance to the new authority which is coming into being, especially the complaint being in the state of Uttar Pradesh, where the ruling government, which has the largest mandate, and they have the intent to implement RERA in right spirit. I think he should wait for the RERA to unfold itself and then actually go for his resolution of his grievances.
Okay, Atul, I hope those are that helps you out. In fact, while Niraj was answering, my producer alerted me that we've got another query to do with Supertech from Taruna Bhatnagar in Delhi, who's written in, still waiting for possession from Supertech Builders in Eco Village 2 that was booked in 2010. 95% of the payment has been made. Can the builder be held liable, be imprisoned? Legal options. Vaibhav, I'm going to give this one to you.
Again, the legal options are very straight, Nayantara. You have to take it into the National Commission and or the RERA authority once it's set up. And I really do believe in cases of Supertech, from what I've heard, there may be certain issues with respect to the licensing and the sanctions, permissions. That needs you need to do a very quick due diligence as a customer to see where you stand on that particular project. And if there have been false representations, or you do believe that you're not going to get possession very shortly, get to court immediately, evaluate your civil and or criminal action, which can happen simultaneously, and launch. There is no point waiting for the delivery to happen and demands coming in while the work at site is not happening. So please get to court very quickly. The decision between RERA and NCDRC needs to happen. That's really the only call.
Okay, but I don't know when that is going to happen. We've been hearing about that for a while. In fact, we've not even seen all the regulators being notified on a pan-India basis. I believe we have another live caller joining in. Once again from Noida. We seem to be quite popular in Noida. There are a lot of aggrieved buyers in Noida. Anuj Kumar joining us. Anuj, what's your query?
Yeah, I'm Anuj Kumar. I booked a flat in Earth Infrastructure County in 2013. The project was launched in 2010, and I was shown a completed structure, and I was told the flat will be in either of the three towers, which is already complete, and for sure you will get the possession by 2015. June 2015, when I checked up in August 2015, I was told that the earthwork for my tower is in progress. Now I approached police, and it seems that IPC is interpreted differently in Gautam Buddha Nagar versus Delhi State. That's number one. Number two, the Consumer Forum under Consumer Protection Act why don't they follow the timelines given within under Section 12 and Section 18 of the Act? They seem to be very happy giving dates 3 to 6 months hence. And number 3, what will happen, how will I get covered under RERA when my 2 of the builders are arrested and 2 are absconding?
Okay. Niraj, what do you have to say? This is a very clearly a question directed at a lawyer.
So and very grim scenario that has been painted here. So basically here I understand the project nearly stands abandoned. In such a scenario, I think it's only RERA which provides the right mechanism of the people who have already taken position in the project. They can actually take over the project. So I believe for all the buyers of this particular project, the right remedial measure that is available to them is under RERA. Otherwise, if this is scenario, I mean, he can always initiate a legal proceeding, both criminal and civil, for his rights. But in a scenario where you know that the director has actually, or the promoters have abandoned the project, I think for somebody who has to protect the money he has already invested in the project, the right approach will be to approach RERA with all these facts and circumstances and actually make a case for handing over the project to the people who already bought the units there.
Okay, so I know you had all these queries against earth infrastructure. Before I go to the next live query, which I believe a caller is calling us from Dehradun, Anuj, Puri, if I could just get you into this conversation. Clearly, a lot of the questions are legal in nature, but there seems to be a trend where you are seeing a lot of grievances in Noida. A lot of the developers, which people may not have heard on a pan-India basis. Yeah, I get there was a meltdown in 2008, etc. But do you think RERA will separate the men from the boys, where the consumers, like the one we just had calling against earth infrastructure, will indeed get protection? They'll at least get that 10% penalty. But like this person pointed out, if the builders are absconding or already in jail, what can they do?
So 3 points I would want to make, Nayantara. The first point is that it is really unfortunate, for most of the people, buying real estate is the biggest financial investment that they are making in their lifetime. If they're not getting their project on time, they're paying EMIs, they're paying their rent with no ability to see when the project is going to get delivered to them. That's the first one, and you had highlighted that point, and I genuinely feel sorry for those people who have waited their lifetime to be able to get their apartment. The second, Nayantara, and it's a very important point, we seem to be missing just because most of the callers have been from Pune or Noida. There are states who have diluted the model RERA Act. By that I mean is that there are states who have exempted the existing ongoing projects from being covered under RERA. Fortunately, Maharashtra is one of those states who has covered the ongoing projects, but there are other states who have not covered the ongoing projects. And many of these queries that are coming on the existing projects, and in those states there is going to be no protection for those people under RERA. And the third is, I genuinely believe when you meet up with good developers who've got intent to do this, they are saying is, we want this to happen. We want, as you put it, men getting separated from boys, although I want gender diversity. So I'm not going to just say men versus, boys. It's really the fly-by-night operators. They want those people to go away because there's so much of bad name that this industry has got just because frivolous guys who were on the periphery of the business came in, tried to make quick money, and today have either disappeared or are sitting in jail and is getting bad repute to the balance of the fraternity, which genuinely wants to do good. So clearly the third point is an important point to where you're going to find
no
many of the developers who are want.
That's right. Definitely builder has a negative connotation to it. For I would say in most cases for good reasons. You talked about dilution. Maharashtra was going to dilute, but you saw very good activism coming in from consumers who made sure that RERA would not be diluted, and that's a case in point and example for other states. Very quickly on to our other live caller. I believe someone from Dehradun is joining us. Hi, what's your query?
Hi. I am Dheeraj Sabharwal. I booked a flat in Bhopal in 2013. In 2015, I got transferred to Dehradun. It's more than 4.5 years, and the builder name is Signature in Bhopal. I have tweeted to lot many people, could not get any response. I want to ask, what is in me after this RERA implementation? 4.5 years, no possession. Builder says, I'll give you in June. Then we put some mails to him. He says, maybe 10 days earlier, no protection for us. I'm paying EMI, I'm paying rent. It's hard for a service class people like me. What to do?
Yeah, of course. Vaibhav, I'm going to come to you this one. I'm sure you get a lot of queries about this, builders not responding to the new delivery timelines. 95% of the payment in most cases has been paid. What is the legal recourse that is available?
Nayantara, again, the legal recourse remains hitting the courts and going with criminal prosecution. In a case where there's been a delay of 4, 5, 6 years of that nature, clearly the malafides are out there. These are not developers who are looking at delivering on their promises. It smells of fraud over here, and the consumers, the authorities have to be vigilant about it. The moment they sense that there are delays cropping in, they should get to court. One can't emphasize that enough, because the earlier caller had said, why can't consumer forums finish it in 6 months, 8 months? Well, they have a huge workload, but you also need to get into court in time. And if this is a case of Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh, I think, is one of the only states which has actually notified and also set up its website and regulatory mechanisms. So it seems to be ahead of other states. This is probably the only state I would say you may want to go with RERA even before you want to go to the consumer forum, because in the other states, I think the RERA notification, by the time the dust settles, it's going to take some time, and you may end up in a bit of a whirlwind. Get to the consumer forum. You still have the right thereafter to seek a transfer to the RERA authority once it is established. Don't waste time. Get to court immediately.
Once again, go to courts, but like you've been hearing, the consumers also having problems. So Vaibhav, Gaggar and Niraj Kumar joining us to tell all of you viewers that what are the obstructions you've been facing while going to court. So do give us a call. You're seeing the phone number at the bottom of your screens. This is a point that Anuj talked about, and we're getting this query on Twitter from a Gaurav Prakash. If states dilute the rules to give relaxation to ongoing projects, can one approach the judiciary challenging the same? Anuj, I know you spoke about this. You highlighted which are some of the states which have not diluted, others that have diluted. So, Niraj, I'm going to come to you now. In Maharashtra, we had seen a lot of activism when the Devendra Fadnavis government had tried to dilute. They had to go back and ensure the spirit of RERA was not lost, the RERA spirit that was enacted by Parliament. So, Niraj, what would you say? Other states, other consumers need to learn from Maharashtra, or just approach the judiciary? That's another cumbersome process.
So, two things. One is the kind of activism that was shown in Maharashtra is definitely a welcome thing. And if such activism can be shown everywhere, in every part of the country, obviously I don't think the government of the day will actually like to make a lot of leeway from what the Act prescribes in the rules. So that is one option. Alternatively, I always see that because of the differential approach that we have seen pan-India in the states to implement RERA, whether in notifying the rules or to notify the authority, I do foresee that there may be a PIL that can be filed, maybe in Supreme Court, for the implementation of this Act in spirit as well as words, and that can actually set the ball rolling in the states which, I mean, in not maybe slightly recalcitrant at the moment to implement RERA, and they will also come in line as far as implementation of rules as well as the creation of authority is concerned.
Okay, so you can approach the judiciary, but activism like in Maharashtra can also prove to be a source of inspiration for consumers in other states. I believe we have another live caller. I've not got a chance with my producer to tell me from where as yet. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, hi.
Go ahead. What's your query?
Yeah, hi.
Where are you from?
This is Hitesh. I'm calling from Noida. My query is basically I have booked a flat in Amrapali Dream Valley somewhere in August 2015. So, from last 2.5, approximately 2 years, if I see the progress of the construction, so it is nowhere. So the builder did not manage to complete even 2 or 3 floors. So now I would like to know if I want to take an exit from the project, how RERA will help me, number one. And if, as far as the legal approach is concerned, what is the best approach for me, whether I should go to National Consumer Forum under 12(1)(c) or 12(1)(b), or is it possible, or shall I go to a state consumer court? So what is the best possible approach?
Vaibhav, where should he go for redressal?
So depending upon whether if the value of the apartment is a crore or above, then you can go to the National Consumer Forum directly. Otherwise, you'll have to go to the State Consumer Forum. In terms of a 12(1)(c) option, that is a representative capacity option. It is never going to be a short proceeding because just the publication and the interventions and pleadments, legal issues, lacunae that are there, your matter is not going to finish in 8, 10, 12 months. It's going to take a lot longer. So do you really want to go a representative capacity? On a 12(1)(b), you're looking at an association, the issues currently pending before a larger bench in the NCDRC, whether an association, what constitutes a voluntary association. So again, there are legal issues involved in that. If you are above a crore of rupees, go into individual capacity and file your case in the NCDRC. As far as RERA is concerned, it does provide you with the option of an exit where there has been delay of this nature and you can get your interest out as well. Authority has not been put into place yet, but I tend to share the opinion of my co-panelists that I think UP is going to be one of the states which is going to put in a definitive authority and a strong one. Once it is done, you could take it there as well. But right now, your only option seems to be hit the NCDRC. Once the authority is framed, you can ask for a transfer over there.
I'm running out of time. We have to wrap up this show. But Anuj, Puri, in less than 30 seconds, these projects which are not getting completed, obviously there is no buyer for them. All these buyers are stuck, right?
Correct. Absolutely. There is going to be very little buyers who are going to be able to buy externally unless, Nayantara, the developer themselves bail out these buyers, which I would say will be very difficult given the current cash flow situation with many of those developers.
Correct. In fact, you had Unitech telling the Supreme Court yesterday that we have no money, you can even arrest us. So, I don't think a lot of the builders will come out with that option. They say maybe the government should be coming out and bailing us. We're out of time. I understand a lot of viewers wanted to call us in. They're continuing to send us questions on social media as well. So maybe we'll be back with the second edition tomorrow. And thank you, all of you gentlemen, for joining us here on ET Now for this special show, Regulating Realty. Thanks for watching.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/ETNow.